3 years ago, the woman I thought I would marry left me for another man. Not because I cheated, not because I lied, but because he had something I didn't: money. She told me I wasn't ambitious enough, that she wanted a better future. And just like that, 5 years of our relationship ended in a single conversation. What happened next completely changed my life. And 3 years later, she showed up at my door. My name is Mark, and at the time, I was 27 years old. I worked as a graphic designer at a small company. The pay wasn't amazing, but I enjoyed my work. My girlfriend Sarah and I had been together since college. For years, everything seemed perfect. We talked about marriage, we talked about buying a house, we talked about building a future together. At least, that's what I believed. Things started changing when Sarah got a new job. The company paid well, and most of her coworkers earned much more than I did. She began comparing our lives to theirs. Every conversation somehow became about money. Why didn't we travel more? Why didn't I drive a nicer car? Why weren't we investing in expensive properties? At first I thought she was just stressed, but eventually she became distant. Then one evening, she asked to meet me at a coffee shop. I knew something was wrong. She barely looked me in the eyes. Finally, she said the words I never expected to hear. "Mark, I think we've grown apart." My stomach dropped. Then she admitted there was someone else, a successful businessman she met through work. She said he could provide the life she wanted. That was the moment I realized the relationship was over. The next few months were brutal. I stopped going out. I barely slept. Every day felt heavier than the last, but eventually I reached a point where I had a choice. I could stay bitter, or I could focus on myself. So I chose the second option. I took online courses, improved my design skills, started freelancing after work. Slowly, clients began recommending me to other clients. Within a year, I was earning more from freelancing than my full-time job. 2 years later, I launched my own design agency. For the first time in my life, I felt completely in control. Not because of the money, but because I had built something myself. 3 years passed. I hadn't spoken to Sarah once. Then one Saturday evening, someone knocked on my door. I opened it, and there she was. At first, I didn't even recognize her. She looked nervous, uncomfortable. She asked if we could talk. Against my better judgment, I agreed. We sat down and talked for nearly an hour. She told me things hadn't worked out with the man she left me for. The relationship ended. Life wasn't what she expected. Then she started talking about our memories together, the good times, the dreams we once shared. Finally, she looked at me and said something I'll never forget. I made a mistake. Years earlier, hearing those words would have meant everything to me. But something had changed. I had changed. The version of me who desperately wanted her back no longer existed. I wasn't angry. I wasn't seeking revenge. I genuinely wished her well, but I also knew I could never trust her the same way again. When things got difficult, she chose someone else, and that's not the kind of foundation I wanted for my future. So I thanked her for being honest. I wished her happiness, and I said goodbye, for good. That night taught me something important. Sometimes the people who leave your life create the space you need to grow. Not every ending is a failure. Some endings are actually the beginning of something better. 3 years ago, I thought losing Sarah was the worst thing that could happen to me. Looking back now, it was one of the best, because it forced me to become the person I am today. And honestly, I wouldn't change a thing. What would you have done in my situation? Would you have given her a second chance or made the same decision? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more relationship stories and life lessons.